Okay, so I'm here with my client Rachel, who lives in Ontario, Canada, and she's actually been through Authentic and Aligned twice. But I'd love to know, Rachel, when was it? Probably about a year ago, the summer of 2022,
hmm
when I first offered Authentic and Aligned. Where were you at that time, and what drew you to enroll in the program?
Yeah, so I was at a point in my life where I could feel or sense a big change needed to happen. The way things were going, I just was feeling not really a connection to my life force, just the experience of existing and going along and not having fulfillment and having an inner knowing that this isn't my path that I'm supposed to be on. And I would like to shift to whatever is aligned for me as far as why I even came here. And I wanted to experience the energy of what it feels like when you're on track with what you came here to do. And the first part of that was figuring out the what and then the how. So
Mm.
this is already something I had concluded on my own to myself. And it was about a week after that you had announced a program called Authentic and Aligned. And it was literally like word for word the description of what I wanted to shift into and what I wanted to gain. So it was a no-brainer for me. I had just begun working with you, but the experience I had in the Communicate with Angels course was intimate and supportive, and I got a lot out of it. So I was sure I would get a lot out of this program. The other piece is I was working a job that was really burning me out, and I knew I needed to quit, but I didn't know when, and I didn't know what was next.
Yeah, amazing. I love hearing that you basically channeled a week before the
Mm-hmm.
exact description of Ending in Line. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your experience like? What shifts happened for you as you went through the 12 weeks of Authentic and Aligned?
I think the biggest thing, especially the first round, was actually clearly seeing what wasn't me and what hasn't been me, which by default made it a lot clearer what I was and who I am, because I just could easily see that for many years in different phases of my life, and especially in that current phase, it was just so clear to me that the lower feelings I had, the empty feelings I had, were directly, very directly linked to me not being myself. And I could see where and when, especially with the profiles and tools we got along the way, almost like I could take a step back and see that's not me. So of course it's feeling confusing and unpleasant.
Yeah, that's so powerful because that's really my underlying mission for the program is for people to recognize, first of all, what's me and what's not me. And
Mm-hmm.
also to know that finding what you've come to do is an inner journey. We're all looking outside of ourselves and trying to make it fit. Right. And that's kind of what you're describing is like, well, no wonder this isn't feeling good because it's not in alignment with me. But people don't have the tools to really realize who their authentic soul self is.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like now you've made that distinction. Would that be true?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So in Authentic and Align, we have the private sessions and we also have the group calls. So what was your
Mm-hmm.
experience like on those group calls?
I just want to say the individual piece was absolutely critical, like could not be done without it. But that piece integrated with the group piece is what made the group piece so powerful, because we all came in, like have spent the time with you on the concepts and on our specific unique profiles, which by the way, this is another reason it's so successful in finding out who you're not and who you are, because you literally get some blueprints for yourself.
Yeah.
And how concrete could that be, having an actual blueprint
Yes.
for your design, which also takes away the feeling of should I be this or should I not? It's, well, you are actually designed this way. So let's fall in line with that. So I just want to mention that. But the group part, so we come in having a bit of this new understanding for ourselves of ourself, but seeing the diversity of, oh, that's how it looks with the other nuance, of this category of the profile. I feel like it helps understand all the people in my life and all the people I've ever been with and worked with, where now there's a new access to seeing the strength, seeing the value, appreciating that. And anyone who had the same profiles, that reflection, that mirror was the most powerful of all for me. There was connection, there was support, understanding, encouragement was huge. This group is cheerleaders. Everyone is so genuinely from their heart wanting everyone to win. And the reflections, it's all kind of channeled. People are figuring it as we talk, but everyone gains a deeper understanding of the whole framework and how we fit in it. And that we do need this diversity and how beautiful it is. And there's a lot more embracing of just the way things are, and seeing, at least for me, seeing myself more clearly through the reflections from other people. It's like could flip it into being excited about what this means that I can offer that other people simply can't offer. And therefore I feel more driven to go do that.
Yeah. I love it. So if somebody's considering, signing up for Authentic and Aligned, but they're just not sure, what would you share with them about what the experience will be like for them?
I think the number one thing for me would be that you hold a very sacred and safe container with a lot of integrity around that. So there's not this feeling of like leakage or nervousness around confidentiality. There's a very clean and clear energy, and you do establish that up front. For me, the safety to be vulnerable was imperative. The other thing would be we have this intellectual need along with this kind of work. So getting paper profiles, getting concrete definitions, getting a blueprint, there is really this balance between the tangible and the, let's say, less tangible spiritual and energy side of things. And so it's really well explained in a way that we can comprehend it and use it and refer back. So I would say if you're in a position where you are at a loss for your next steps, like, I don't really know how I fit in this world right now. I know I need a change, but I don't know where to go. And I don't know what is going to, how to just be me. Which I feel a lot of people are in that position.
Yep.
This is such a supportive, tangible way to figure out, where do I go from here? And like, who am I actually, so that I can be that person and live from that place.
Beautiful. So what kind of results or shifts have you seen now that you've completed the program?
I think a huge is my relationships with other people and my self-expression inside of that. So I used to hold back quite a lot, just the withholding to protect other people and be unable to tolerate any discomfort on their side. When I realized a big part of why I'm here is to be telling the truth, speaking the truth, and to be completely unconcerned with how other people feel about it, that my job is to say the truth and they can do what they need to do with that on their journey. It helped me to feel more neutral and safe to say things, knowing it's coming from a place of love and that I'm meant to do that, so that I didn't have the kind of logical reasons to refrain. Being more discerning in my choices of who I spend time with and what kind of quality of time. The other thing would be getting a lot more comfortable with uncertainty and just things being different from the way they were. So I've been able to put myself out there gradually more and more, but I used to be in the spiritual closet. And I started to be a lot more comfortable telling everyday people that, I work with guides. I use my intuition in this way. I use oracle cards, and I'd love to share with you if you're interested. And I actually just recently finally went online, officially publicly offered readings, which would have been completely unheard of to embrace that. What is kind of right or wrong for me. And that I just trust that path more as far as which way I'm going, even if it's not immediately obvious. As long as I return to the tools and I stay in communication with guidance, it never fails.
Well, it's a step-by-step unfoldment, but if from me looking at you, I'm like, wow, like you were in a job that was really not for you. A lot of people would have just stayed there, right? And you had the courage to shift that and you're starting to share, come out of the spiritual closet, right? And share, offer things to people. So even that right there is such a huge, tangible result, as well as the amazing inner shifts that you've made and in your relationships. You're more in alignment. It's easy not to give ourselves credit for that on a day-to-day, but that is really a huge change from where you were a year ago.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Rachel. Is there anything else you want to share right now?
I think I would just share that even when I felt this happened a lot going into a session where I'm like, I just don't want to be on it. I just want to skip it. Every single time that ever happened, I came out of it being like, I wouldn't have missed that. I can't believe I almost didn't do that. The trust that you're going to get what you want and need out of it, just that trust that showing up is enough. Just show up however you are. I was blown away every single time the way I left the session feeling light and connected and just like a wow moment. That's how powerful it was.
Sometimes I feel resistance about showing up to things, and it's that fear coming up is really what it is, right? Fear of that next step, fear of that growth. So I think that's a really good point for anybody that's feeling resistance about joining as well or investing in themselves. Deep down if it's right for you. Hey, it's not right for everyone, but if you have that pull, then it's right for you. And that's another thing we talk about in the program, is really listening to that inner pull, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I would say too.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Rachel.
You're welcome. My pleasure.